everyone, this is John from DroidDog.com, and this is the first of what I hope will be several question and request videos about Sony Ericsson's X10. I'd like to get to every single question and request you guys send in, but realistically that's probably not going to happen. But I will cover as many as I can during my time with the phone. Alright, let's get to it. So the first thing that I need to get to, I should say the top two things, are the screen and the keyboard. Those are by far the top two most popular questions and requests that I've been getting so far. People are concerned about the sensitivity of the screen. They've seen in several places that people have had some problems with responsiveness, and of course that affects the keyboard. Now the keyboard can be replaced, of course, but if screen sensitivity is affecting your typing with a stock keyboard, are you really going to have that much luck with a replacement? You know, I don't know. So first let's just start with the overall quality of the screen. People have been asking about brightness, sharpness, comparison to the Nexus 1. I've been getting that a lot. So first thing I did was I changed the wallpaper, mainly because that sharp electric blue, it pops so much off the screen. It looks so beautiful. That's great and everything, but it might hinder objectivity in terms of comparing it with other screens. I also wanted to point out the way that the app drawer, the top of it kind of fades into a transparency, and you can't really see that so much with the blue background that comes stock on the X10. So that's kind of cool. You can see how that works there. So for a display comparison between the Nexus 1 and X10, I've turned off the automatic brightness and turned brightness all the way up on both screens. And just to clarify some of the specs here, on the left, the Nexus 1 has a 3.7-inch WVGA AMOLED screen at 800 by 480 pixels. And the Google Nexus 1 website says it gets a typical contrast ratio of 100,000 to 1. The X10 is a 4-inch 480 by 854 display at 65,000 colors. Oh, somebody also asked if it was a scratch-resistant surface, and yes, it is. I'm going to compare the exact same image in a minute here, but I just wanted to show you a difference looking at the user interface on each device. This blue really does brighten things up. It's a light theme, and overall it makes the display look very bright and easy to read. And overall I've been happy with the look of the display, except for in certain instances, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. You can see this 65,000 color screen doesn't handle gradients as well as the Nexus 1. I'll show this same widget in a second here. I don't know if you can see the stripes, the shifts in colors. It's almost a quantization of the gradient, where it's reduced to steps that are much more obvious to the naked eye than is the case on the Nexus 1. Whoops. Where you'll see the same widget, and I'm trying to get the best view I can here so you can see that the transition from the bottom, which is much darker than the top, which is also a dark gray, but there is a difference in the lighting, is far more difficult to detect with the naked eye. If you look at the bottom, you can tell that it's darker than the top, but there's not really any point in between there that you can say, oh, there's a step, there's where it changes color, because it's just such a gradual, subtle gradient. And on the X10, it's quite obvious. You can see those bars. Now if I compare DroidDog Mobile on both of these phones, you'll see that the Nexus 1 blacks are blacker, the dark grays are darker, the orange is more vibrant and bright. However, some people have complained that lighter colors on the Nexus 1 have a sort of bluish tinge to them. Now, I haven't exactly noticed that. I mean, I can tell you that this may not look exactly white, but if you compare it to something like the X10, where it has less contrast, you can see that it actually looks brighter and sharper on the Nexus 1. So whether or not there's like some intentional tinge, like a tinge of blue or something there, I don't know. I haven't really noticed it. But I can tell you that side by side, the Nexus 1 and the X10 almost looks like it has a sort of film over the same page there. So next thing is the sensitivity and the keyboard, how that affects the keyboard. When I first opened this phone, I said, yeah, I think this is better than the model that I tried a couple of months ago in Las Vegas at CES. And now the more I play with it, the more I'm thinking, is it really that much better? And Sony Ericsson assured me that this is pre-release software. I should make that very clear, that there could be changes before the final product. However, I'm kind of wondering why everybody is getting this version then, because I think it's a detriment to the image of the X10 because of the sensitivity issues. Now, it's not like I get constant non-responsiveness. It's just an overall feeling that it's just not as sensitive as phones like the Nexus 1. In terms of the keyboard, you can see here I've been using the stock Android one because I'm honestly just not too happy with the X10 keyboard. I did give it time to adapt to it, and I didn't find myself, oops, I'm not in a good app to go landscape. Alright, there we go. And while I have found myself more comfortable with the keyboard than I was when I first opened the box, of course, I haven't, even after quite a bit of typing, reached the stage that I felt like I should have with this keyboard. A lot of it has to do with sensitivity. Some of it is just, I suppose taste issues and a bit of adaptation. Like, for instance, I'm always hitting period when I want to hit the space bar because my thumb is just used to going there with other keyboards. So let me just do another quick test here, and I'm going to go fairly slowly and try to get it right. Okay, so you can see how slow and cautious I was in typing that, and there are a couple of errors there. For me, typing at that speed should not be an issue at all. So let's do a similar test on the Nexus 1 with my favorite virtual keyboard available. So obviously that's not a very fair contest, is it? But let's do something similar and see how it works. So, I went, I think, quite a bit faster there. I was still cautious, trying to get it right, not fast, but I was able to go quite a bit quicker than I was on the X10. And as you can see, I didn't have as much fumble time just trying to get between, alternate characters and all that stuff because of the long press capabilities of the Sense keyboard. But, I guess that test is a testament to the ingenuity of HTC in their long press layout, as well as the sensitivity of the Nexus 1 screen. So, the keyboard, I'm kind of doing an all-in-one here. The sensitivity is an issue, and also there are some things about the layout that I just don't understand. I think long press is something that should be adopted kind of across the board when it comes to virtual keyboards, and I just find myself hitting the wrong buttons at times, and what really makes me angry is when I have to keep hitting the same button over and over again. And when you're trying to put in a password for a website and you keep getting the notice that the username or password is incorrect, that's when it starts to drive you nuts. If you have a question about this device or a request of something you'd like to see me do with the X10, @reply me on Twitter. That's phonedog_John. Or you can send a text message to 503-MOB-BARK. And that's for text messages only. Nobody's going to be checking voicemails or answering the phone. Please include X10 in your message so I know which phone you're asking me about. That's how I sort through these messages, and otherwise I probably won't see your question or request. Alright, thanks for watching everybody. Stay tuned to DroidDog.com. Take care.